I'm going to show you how to build this scientifically perfect bowl for the best blood sugar you've ever seen in your life. It's just 5 simple ingredients plus a dressing that doesn't just taste bright and zesty, it actively lowers blood sugar while you eat it. And here's the best part. Every single ingredient in this bowl is backed by real research showing measurable improvements in insulin sensitivity, fasting glucose, or A1C. This isn't food that's just not bad for you. This is food that's actively improving metabolic pathways in every single bite. I'll show you exactly how to build it, explain the science behind each ingredient, and by the end, you'll have a bowl you can make in about 15 minutes that your body is going to thank you for. If you want our free guide to put this into action with more meal examples, recipes, and a step-by-step plan, comment guide below. It's completely free. Now, let's build this bowl. Before we add a single ingredient, you need to understand one thing. When it comes to blood sugar, everything starts with insulin sensitivity. Insulin sensitivity is how easily your cells can absorb glucose from your bloodstream. Think of insulin as a key. Your muscle and liver cells are the locks. When those cells are clean and healthy and the key turns easily, glucose flows in, gets used for energy, and your blood sugar comes back down quickly. But when excess fat accumulates inside those cells, the lock gets jammed. Insulin shows up, it tries to turn the key, but the signal doesn't go through. So glucose stays in the bloodstream, your blood sugar stays high, and your pancreas keeps pumping out more insulin trying to fix a problem it can't reach. That's insulin resistance, and that's the root cause of type 2 diabetes for most people. The goal isn't to avoid carbohydrates. The goal is to clean those locks so carbohydrates can go where they're supposed to go. That's exactly what this bowl does. Every single ingredient targets a different part of that process, and together they create a meal that isn't just blood sugar friendly, it's blood sugar healing. Step 1, the fiber foundation, barley. Start with 1 cup of cooked hulled barley. Barley isn't just a filler grain. It's one of the richest whole food sources of beta-glucan on the planet, a soluble fiber that churns into a thick gel in your gut and physically slows down how fast glucose from your meal can reach your bloodstream. Here's the science. A meta-analysis of 17 controlled trials covering 212 subjects found that barley and barley beta-glucan significantly reduced the glucose area under the curve after eating and also significantly reduced the insulin response compared to control foods. A separate 12-week randomized placebo-controlled trial in adults at risk for type 2 diabetes found that 3 grams a day barley beta-glucan significantly reduced the glucose response during an oral glucose tolerance test, and 6 grams a day significantly reduced fasting insulin and HOMA-IR, the standard measure of insulin resistance. What's happening here isn't complicated. The gel-forming fiber physically slows gastric emptying and blunts the glucose spike before it even starts. And because barley resists full digestion in the small intestine, some of it travels to your colon where the gut bacteria ferment it into short-chain fatty acids, the same compounds that improve how your muscle cells respond to insulin. Here's a tip. Barley holds up beautifully as leftovers. And just like rice or quinoa, cooling it after cooking increases its resistant starch content, meaning day 2 barley may be even gentler on your blood sugar than day 1 barley. Step 2, the protein and satiety powerhouse, pinto beans. Next, add 1 cup of cooked pinto beans. I know what you might be thinking. Beans are carbs. Won't they spike me? If pinto beans are spiking you right now, that's not the beans' fault. It's revealing existing insulin resistance, not creating it. Here's what the research actually shows. In a randomized crossover trial, adults with type 2 diabetes ate white rice alone or rice paired with pinto beans, black beans, or red kidney beans, all matched for the same amount of available carbohydrate. Postprandial glucose was significantly lower for all 3 bean and rice combinations compared to rice alone at 90, 120, and 150 minutes after eating. And the pinto bean meal produced a significantly smaller overall glucose response than rice by itself. That's the second meal effect in action. The fiber and resistant starch in pinto beans don't just slow down their own digestion. They slow down the digestion of everything eaten alongside them. Pinto beans also bring roughly 15 grams of plant protein per cup to this bowl. Protein slows gastric emptying even further and gives you the kind of lasting fullness that keeps you from reaching for something processed 2 hours later. Step 3, the nutrient-dense green kale. Now, add 8 cups of chopped kale as your base. That's a lot of kale. It's supposed to be. Kale wilts down fast, and this is where you build the foundation everything sits on. Kale belongs to the cruciferous vegetable family, and it has direct clinical evidence behind it for blood sugar control specifically. In a 12-week randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial, people with type 2 diabetes who consumed freeze-dried kale daily saw a significant drop in A1C. Their A1C fell by an average of 1.3 points over the study period, while the placebo group's A1C actually rose by 1.3 points over the same 12 weeks. The kale group also showed a significant reduction in insulin resistance. Fiber eaten at the start of a meal acts like a speed bump for the carbohydrates that follow. Building this bowl on a bed of kale means every bite of barley and pinto bean that comes after it hits a slower, gentler glucose curve. Step 4, the color and antioxidant boost. Bell peppers, tomatoes, and carrots. Now layer on 2 cups of chopped yellow bell pepper, 2 cups of halved cherry tomatoes, and 1 cup of grated carrot. These 3 aren't just here to make the bowl look incredible. Each one is delivering a specific class of antioxidant compound that plays a real role in insulin signaling. Bell peppers are one of the richest food sources of vitamin C. A 2023 systematic review and meta-analysis of 22 randomized controlled trials in over 1,400 people with type 2 diabetes found that vitamin C supplementation significantly reduced A1C, fasting insulin, and fasting blood glucose compared to control. Tomatoes bring lycopene to the bowl. A 2022 systematic review and meta-analysis found that lycopene intake was associated with lower fasting blood glucose, and when the analysis was narrowed to people with type 2 diabetes specifically, the reduction reached statistical significance. And carrots bring beta-carotene to the mix. A large dose-response meta-analysis of prospective cohort studies found that people with the highest circulating levels of beta-carotene had significantly lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes compared to those with the lowest levels. Oxidative stress is one of the main disruptors of healthy insulin signaling, and that's the faulty mechanism they are fixing. Carotenoids and vitamin C are some of the most potent dietary antioxidants that exist, and they help calm that oxidative stress at the cellular level, which is exactly the environment insulin needs to do its job. Step 5, the blood sugar lowering dressing. Now, let's make it taste incredible with a dressing that's doing real metabolic work. Here's what goes in it. 2 tablespoons chopped cilantro, 1/2 cup fresh lime juice, a little bit of lime zest, and 1 teaspoon chili powder. Whisk it together. That's it. Let's break down what's actually happening here. Lime juice is packed with citric acid, and citric acid has a long history in human physiology research for slowing gastric emptying. A classic study testing 9 different organic acids found that citric acid, like the others tested, slowed the rate at which food leaves the stomach in a dose-dependent way. Chili powder brings capsaicin to the dressing, and capsaicin has real data behind it for blood sugar. In a randomized crossover trial, regular chili consumption attenuated postprandial hyperinsulinemia, meaning the same meal required less insulin to manage when chili was part of it. In a separate randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial in women with gestational diabetes, 4 weeks of daily capsaicin significantly reduced 2-hour post-meal glucose, 2-hour post-meal insulin, and post-meal insulin resistance compared to placebo. Cilantro rounds out the flavor and adds its own polyphenols and antioxidants to the mix. So this isn't just a dressing. It's a second layer of glucose control drizzled right over the first. Now, let's put it all together. Whisk together your lime juice, half the lime zest, and chili powder. Set it aside. Layer your chopped kale on the bottom of a large bowl. Arrange your grated carrots, cherry tomatoes, and bell peppers in sections on top. Spoon your barley and pinto bean mixture, tossed with the chopped cilantro, into its own section. Drizzle the lime chili dressing over everything and sprinkle on the remaining lime zest. That's it. 5 ingredients, 1 dressing, 15 minutes. And you now have the scientifically perfect bowl for reversing insulin resistance. So here's what's happening in your body when you eat this. Barley forms a fiber gel that slows glucose absorption from the very first bite and feeds the gut bacteria that improve muscle insulin sensitivity. Pinto beans flatten the spike further and deliver protein that keeps you full for hours, plus a second meal effect that carries into your next meal. Kale acts as a fiber buffer for everything eaten after it, while its own compounds have been shown to lower A1C directly. Bell peppers, tomatoes, and carrots flood your system with vitamin C and carotenoids that calm the oxidative stress interfering with insulin signaling. And the lime chili dressing helps slow the rate food leaves your stomach, while the capsaicin in the chili reduces the insulin your body needs to handle the whole meal. This is food as chemistry, food as medicine, food that earns its place in your body. Try this bowl for lunch 3 days in a row. Check your glucose before eating, 1 hour after, and 2 hours after. You'll likely see your post-meal peaks shrinking, your return to baseline getting faster, your energy lasting longer in the hours that follow. That's what improving insulin sensitivity feels like in real time. And over time, as you keep eating this way, something bigger happens. Your cells become more carbohydrate tolerant. The same foods that used to spike you start to land more gently. You need less insulin to handle the same meal. Your fasting numbers trend down. Your A1C improves. That's not luck. That's not willpower. That's biology changing because you gave it the right environment to change. If you want help building more meals like this, complete with recipes, a step-by-step food plan, and real case studies from people who reversed insulin resistance eating this way, comment guide below. If this video helped you, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear that beans and whole grains are not the enemy. Until next time, keep those carbs high and that A1C low.